So it sounds like you had a crazy week last week dealing with a unique situation as a funeral director. So, Melissa, why don't you tell us a little bit about the scenario you found yourself in last week?
I got a call to assist with a farewell and burial of a horse. And I'm in a rural area.
Okay.
So the farmers out here do typically bury their horses.
Uh-huh.
This was a widow that needed help all the way. Like she needed us to find access to a tractor and, or whatever, the backhoe. Yeah, and she wanted it to be sentimental and like she wanted help. She wanted more guidance than what the typical farmer may have wanted. So the horse had been euthanized on her property on a blanket,
Uh-huh.
out in the pasture where it was going to be buried, so they didn't have to tote it very far.
Right.
And the day before is when we arranged for finding the person with the backhoe, and so the grave was already dug. That didn't have to be done while we were just sitting around waiting for the lady to be ready to let her horse go.
Right.
Underneath the blanket, we had kind of like, imagine backboards for humans,
Yep.
except it's grande size. So we had something plastic like that with a bit of a cup to it that had been wedged underneath with straps so that it could be pulled and then
Oh.
delivered into the grave. Um, Very interesting. I didn't stay for that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Uh,
is there a loud thud that happens in this situation, or what happens?
I would assume, unless they took the straps back around and hooked them up to the backhoe and lowered it in,
Oh,
I'm
right.
kicking myself for not staying for that part, and I will have to circle back and get that conversation from the folks that were involved.
Sure.
But we adorned his face with flowers.
Oh, that's
She
nice.
had some goats that came by and
Naturally.
were with her. And they said goodbye to the horse too. And then some
Oh,
kids from next door came by and brought flowers and put them on the horse. And they did the
it's
whole mane and
beautiful.
the tail cut. And they're looking at memorial, like the Victorian memorial jewelry from Wisp Adornments. They're looking
Wow.
at that. It's pretty cool. They could make a whole wreath. They could make a whole wreath, a vest if they wanted to with all that hair.
I'm sure. Wow, that's it sounds like a beautiful send off, and obviously it all depends on the situation and your care for whatever you love, and that's part of what we do as funeral directors. Is like we're gonna help you get through that process, no matter what way you're grieving for whoever it is. We're gonna do that. So how did they find you, and what was your role overall in the situation?
So while the End Foundation is working to get established as the funeral home, I launched Pet Funeral Care, the
Hmm.
End Companion Care. So I'm currently offering water cremation and assistance with burial, or also what I call angel guide visits, where if the person can't take their pet to the end of life appointment at the vet, be it too heartbreaking or just can't be there, or if they want somebody to be there with them to comfort them or bring the other animals to these appointments. Um, that's what I'm doing currently
That's
while we get everything
beautiful.
off the ground.
That's great. Well, for anyone that didn't listen to our previous episode, we had one a bit back. Melissa is the founder and she runs the End Foundation, which their aspiration is to have the